Check. Check, check. Hey, alright. Tournament's beginning in about a minute. It's starting very soon. I just gotta get everything out of the way. Make sure people are checked in. And then we're goodies. Hello, hello. I'm echoing. Check, check. Am I still echoing? Is it like really different than usual, or is it normal? You love my Cathay play during turns tournament. Wonderful. Yo, it's a pretty sick build. It was a pretty sick build. Pixelated Valkyria. Dang, it showed up on the thumbnail. She ain't that pixelated, right? There's a problem with Valkyria where if you zoom in, her model just disappears. It's kind of a pain. We're playing Dowie Corn, Lizardmen, Demons of Chaos, and Coast, by the way. Alrighty. So let's take a look-see. Looks like everything's good to go. So I can generate the bracket. All right. And it begins. And the tournament begins, and I have a bye round. Oh boy. Let's see here. I got a bye round. Can you open a spec slot, please? Oishi's playing against Son of Heaven. So I guess we're spectating to start. Interesting. Well, a win is a win. It means I'm gonna have to win the next few though, otherwise my opponent points will kind of be sucky. Yo, Turin, I watched Turin's replay. Like his POV of the battle. He was pretty confident. Even when he was like at half of the trading value to mine. I was like 5,000 to his 2,500. Finals were a bit anticlimactic, but the build is insane. Yeah. There were actually a lot of anticlimactic games. Such is the best of ones, though. That's how it works. Alright, Son of Heaven. Spec slot, please. And code. What's the best cavalry cost-wise? And what is the best cav in general in the game? Hellstriders and Hellstriders. Surprise, surprise. It's Hellstriders. Followed by probably Knights Errant. I think a lot of people would run Knights Errant if they were in another... I feel like people would run Knights Errant if they were in other factions. Because there's 700 cost cavalry that's fast. That's basically Empire Knights. They're basically Empire Knights at a 150 gold discount. They're pretty sick. I assume Seekers, unless they get fixed. Oh yeah, Seekers are also pretty busted. Seekers are also pretty busted, but they're banned, so I didn't even consider them as a cavalry unit. Centaurs are really good. They're top class. But Hellstriders dominate on the resummon. What's the best chaff and why is it Skinks? Absolutely not Skinks. Skinks got that capture weight, but that's about it. Yeah, Skinks, they're cool and all, but they can't fight anything, man. Definitely best chaff are Empire Spearmen. Most well-rounded chaff in the game. High leadership, very good holding power, anti-large. It's perfect. Jade Lancers are pretty cost-effective for Armored Cav too. Though I don't think they beat Knights Errant. 700 armored, like 700 gold for mid-tier Cav is a steal, man. I don't think anyone else has anything quite like that. I thought Skink Skirmishers tend to trade up. He's talking about chaff, so he's talking about the, well, like, yeah, he's talking about the, you know, either the 325 normal melee skinks or the skink javelins. Skink javelins are okay, but even so, I'd rather have Empire Spears. And you can tell because Empire Spears win games, whereas Lizardmen are kind of down in the dumps. Hey, Flug, what's up? But yeah, Empire Spears are so cheap, so cost effective. Maximilianaire say zombies. Yeah, I think zombies would be run in every faction that had access to them. I think every faction would take 5 zombies. That's I think that's very clear, both in land and domination. Yeah, zombies pretty great. Though I will say Empire Spears are also a unit that everyone would take. It's a little bit of a toss-up, but zombies are, you know, they fill a specific niche that other chaff have a hard time with. Nurglings? I don't respect Nurglings. Nurglings kind of suck. Yeah, unfortunately, Nurglings, they're kind of like skinks. You know? Okay, yeah, they have Vanguard, but like, what's that supposed to do? Half of all domination games end up coming down to someone getting army wiped anyways. Which means that your Vanguard doesn't really do much unless it gets you into the fight faster. Which I guess kind of helps. But yeah, no, not Nurglings. I think Nurglings are way overrated. Deckhands are also really good, but I think zombies just do their job but better. Just opening up this package, don't mind me. Dwarven miners are not very impressive either, no. Not a huge fan. Not the biggest fan of dwarf miners. Bestigors are fine. Good armor piercing, strong, tanky infantry. That's fast. Would love if we got a Centaur Lord and Hero. Yo, that'd be hype. Though the Gorable kinda already gets the job done. Like, since Gore Lord and Hero is cool, but yeah, I think Gorables are essentially that. More or less. More or less. Yo, they'd have perfect vigor though. That's spooky. Would you rather have one Nurgle Forsaken over 3 Nurglings? Well, 3 Nurglings is going to cost you like 1,050. One Nurgle Forsaken is 850. So it is cheaper. And I think generally, yes. Especially with so many people going wide builds nowadays. With wide build action, you end up getting a situation where the Nurglings just face other chaff and they just kind of grind forever. But if you take one Forsaken, it punches a hole through their line. You know, it goes right through. And then it can start harassing the back line. Nurglings don't really do that. Now, if they go for a less wide build, you know, if like Chaos Dwarves are more meta, and you needed something to shut down some of their glaives, of fire glaives, for like a little bit, then Nurglings, perhaps they'll have a use there. If there was more prevalent skirmishing, Nurglings are pretty good against skirmishers. But it's not really too meta right now. Elven Rangers? Ha! Elven Rangers. Please! Don't make me laugh. Alright, here we go. It's an Orc build and a kind of a weird Skaven build. Look at that. Craziness. The Avalanche Mortars? Hell yeah. You win the tournament with the Nurgle mobility build using Cav and Air Force. I remember Turin commented you were trying that out. I think it wasn't that successful, no. Nurgle's Air Force is a little janky. Though, well, okay, here's the thing, right? Those Cav builds only work if you have something like Crane Gunners. So you could probably use that build as Empire to beat Dwarves. But using it as Nurgle, you run the risk of getting hard countered. But yeah, Kislev got some work there. You just gotta make him advance so your cavalry does more work. If they're on the move, if they're spread out, the better. Anyways, look at that. Poisoned Wind Globadiers. Hype. Got some Clan Rats. We got an Ikit Claw. We have a Tormentor Sword Fungi Lord. Okay, now that's pretty high. I do love me the fungi tech. Its range got nerfed a ton in ages long past, but it's still a rampage. And a Tormentor Sword net. That's 9 seconds plus 15, 24-second lockdown of a unit of your choice. Pretty spooky. Any magic though? No starting magic for the Gobos. Lots of pump wagons, I will say though. Oishi playing as greenskins. Definitely playing them more as a rush faction, whereas I usually play them as a kite faction. Interesting. Stelios, also known as Son of Heaven. Gonna be marching right on up. How will this go? You'll start calling yourself Zaravdir if you play Kislev. Yo, are you playing today, Karavdir? Karav, he's not playing today. Honestly, you've earned a nice break. You've gotten some good achievements in a short time. Interesting. Now, Ikiclaw has the usual, although I will say Storm Demon, I always have a hard time making value with it. So I'm interested to see if he's gonna get a Storm Demon off. It's a missile spell, you know, think kind of like Amber Spear-ish with a little bit more of an explosion at the end. Does 700 damage. It's pretty good. It says it has good penetration. Perfect. But will he get value with it? Launches it. And it misses. Slams into a pump wagon instead. That's some tabletop get down sir action. Poor thing. Got deleted. I guess it's not. Guess it's not homed. Guess it's not homing. Or maybe I think he was targeting the Lord. If it's that easily dodgeable. He got 2 kills. This is a chariot, so it counts for 2 units when you kill it. 54 value. He only has 1 charge of it left. If he does that again, it gets him 100 gold value at a relatively slow pace, pretty low impact. Is it worth? Is it more worth than a Skaven Slave? Maybe about as worth as a Skaven Slave. As long as he doesn't need an infantry unit to block for these guys. But otherwise, fairly underwhelming use of Storm Demon. Khorne feels so good to play compared to Cathay. I know, right? Khorne's so straightforward. I do think they're a skill check faction, though. Either your opponent knows how to beat Khorne, and it's going to be a very tough bout. You can still win it, though. Or they don't know how to play Khorne and they get absolutely deleted. And you don't have to worry about futzing around with magic. Magic optimization is pretty difficult. One of the more higher level plays for Warhammer. Is that an overcast? It's an upgraded flensing. So flensing does, what was it? 1,200? I think it was 1,200 upgraded. Surely it was more, right? No, okay. Looks like maybe 1,000. Ooh, some shots. Was it 1,400? Was it? Looks like 1,000. Yeah, about 1,300 damage. 1,350. Yeah, close to 1,400. So 2 more overcasts and this guy's dead. And Ikiclaw does have extreme winds of magic regeneration. So this guy's got to keep away from the flensings. It can be outranged. It's only 100 meter range, which means it's the same as Pavane, which means it can be pretty hard to stay out of range, but not impossible. Big shot, whiffs. Good dodging from the Orc Boys. Oishi, top tier player, by the way. Very spooky indeed. I expect him to dodge pretty consistently here. Yeah, upper limit's like 1,800, but like the RNG gods, you might as well buy a lottery ticket if you're gonna get maximum damage with it. Because it ticks for so long, it's gonna be very close to the average expected damage. Very, very close. Would you buff elite infantry? Yes. Elite infantry are... Oh, dang! Insta-kill on Dwarf Thing Menace. Totally missed that. That's kind of huge. Kind of baits out a flensing, but he targets... I think he targeted the Orc Boys. Maybe just the normal Orc Boys, not even the Cav. So this Lord actually just leaves the bubble and he's safe. Maybe a misclick. But yeah, elite infantry could use a buff in campaign. They could use a buff in multiplayer, so it's kind of a no-brainer, right? Win-win for everyone. Just make them a bit stronger. Anyways, a lot of this game is going to come down to this pump wagon control. Took a lot of damage from those Clan Rat shields and Ogre charge. As long as he has mass nearby, there shouldn't be too much going wrong there. I will say though, Skaven formation a little too wide. Does get one of his essential damage pieces shut down. So not a big price for the greenskins. You know, if these guys were over here, these Rat Ogres could have protected. Losing his chariots too was pretty painful. Another big charge, pump wagons. Don't care much about Clan Rat Spears, it seems. I guess maybe they weren't fully bracing. Maybe the animation's just really good. But there you go. Big old charge in the back here. Goodbye, second Poison Wing Globadier. And you can see the value difference is definitely there. A lot of value is going to have to be made left with the remaining tools. That being this one Avalanche Mortar. Has gone 900 gold value. It is still alive, so it could potentially continue to carry. He only needs one range tool to survive to get a crazy lead. By the way, this is why I always talk about how in pro play, range units don't actually get any shots off. This is why buff spells are a little sus, because they can't shoot most of the time because most players are trying to shut them down as much as possible. And in this case, it's pretty sus. Although, pretty big dive on the Storm Vermin. Elite anti-large. Well, as elite as it gets. Anti-large Skaven infantry doing pretty good. Some rat ogres on these pump wagons. They're going to be killing them. So tiny losses for the greenskins, but still a pretty massive value lead, right? 1,500 value. They're going to need like a sick Icket Claw snipe to win this. And not this kind of Icket Claw snipe. He does get a debuff on him, was it? No, flensing. Flints and ruin right on top of this lord. He does lose his mortars though. So he's going to have to really get a comeback here. Cast it on the shaman, not the lord, man. It's not sticky. Flensing is not a sticky spell. So he casts it on the orc shaman who is already surrounded, and this guy escapes. He doesn't take any of the damage, man. Very unoptimal spell use. Very unoptimal. Could have been a misclick, but honestly, this guy should have been dead by now. He could have cast. He had 2 opportunities to cast it on him. He left twice. That's why he's barely alive. A little bit of a shot here on the big guns, but now it's looking pretty over, right? Now it's looking pretty over. Icket Claw got some pretty good damage, but he's like hard carrying the Skaven value on his back right now. Still gets pretty good shot though. Was that did he get his Storm Demon off? This guy just took a lot of damage out of nowhere. I don't think this has enough range, right? Yeah, 60-meter range. I think he did get a Storm Demon off on this guy, so that did help the value a little bit. We do have a Skaven capture here. Dwarf Thing Menace is back. A lot of the greenskin forces are a little bit bruised too. So if this lord did die at the most opportune moment, we could see a mass rout here. A couple D summons going down. He does have some very high HP infantry and cavalry though. The swamp things, oh my gosh. The -6 melee attack. Honestly, I feel like I'd rather have stone trolls, but he's winning. Can't judge too hard. Dwarf Thing Menace charging into the savage big guns. These guys are anti-large beasts, man. Frenzied bonus versus large 8. Rampages the Dwarf Thing Menace in there too, but this thing is also anti-infantry. So they're kind of just melting each other right now. And Skaven don't really want that. They want extremely value. They want extremely valuable trades to win this. He does get a flensing here though. Icket Claw, there we go. Unlimited powers there. It's flensing upgraded. Did not overcast, but despite that, lot of routing for Icket Claw. Well, you know, a lot of damage, but he does route. Overall, the damage is okay. Kind of bouncing around. Looks like it's stuck on the pump wagons. Remember, this thing lasts 32 seconds, mind you. It lasts 32 seconds, so if you just walk away like he's doing here, you see how it's still ticking? It's still ticking, but these units are no longer affected. So another, you know, by targeting the faster unit, the ones that are slower don't take any damage. If you cast on the infantry, it could have stayed on the trolls perhaps. But, you know, it gets back. 350 tickets to loss, though. Clan rats are routed, and yeah, this is absolutely over now. Opportunities for comeback are over. He even brought in the Plague Monks. The Warp Fire Throwers. Dang, he brought a lot of ranged. Brought a lot of ranged versus the melee rush faction. Will they even get a volley off? Let's see. Target fires. Shoots. Doesn't even do that much. Oh, the poor Warp Fire Thrower. You know, it takes out about a third of their HP, but they still get charged, man. Charged and disrupted, which buys time for the Savage Orcs to jump them. Oh, range units. Oh, how easy you are to shut down. Good capture here for the Greenskins, and this looks like a pretty commanding victory for Oishi. Yeah, Night Goblin War Boss is pretty cool. He is quite snipeable, though. You have to be really careful. Like, I think he was way too... aggressive with them. He got really close to Icket Claw. You know, you can really see just like one more flensing ruin and he's gone, man. And Greenskins without their lord, it hurts. Sure, they could resummon him, but that window of opportunity is definitely painful. Oh, dang, look at that little explosion there from the orc shaman. We got a little brain burster action. Whoopsies. Little brain burster has 800 gold value. Not bad for a greenskins caster. Honestly, with value numbers like that, I feel like a River Troll Hag with Spirit Leech is also just fine. But, you know, if you're expecting a lot of Skaven chaff, these are nice to punch through the front line, so totally makes sense. It's more about getting them routes. But anyways, Oishi gets the win for game number 1. As you can see, the Avalanche Death Globe Mortars did not do very good. I wish buff spells last longer. I think we all do. Globadier, 6 value, 235. Yeah, it just ended up being, you know, this is a full melee rush build. He was unable to protect his range units. He made the game revolve around him, but he was not able to close the ticket. Brutal. So yeah, multiplayer maps in the tournaments are from the mod pack. A good number of them on CA's ladder use maps from the mod pack too, though. Pretty cool. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Warcraft 3 recently. I think I've kind of peaked at, like, you know, between 1350 and 1400 MMR. It's very hard to push past this point right now, I'm finding. But, yo, the spells in that game are so cool. They're so cool, man. They're so cool. Purge on shamans. Nets the unit in place for a time. And removes all buffs and debuffs. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Lightning orbs. Cast it on a unit. It orbits around them. Doesn't damage the unit itself, but damages all the units around it. So you can't blob around them. Cast it on friendlies or enemies alike. So you can use it offensively or defensively. So cool, man. So cool. There's a spell where you cast it on, you know, it links, life links 4 units together. So that unit takes 50% less damage. And that 50% damage negated gets spread amongst the other life-linked units. That's interesting. Holy crap, man. That's so interesting. And by the way, that ability lasts 75 seconds. And especially in a game that is as fast-paced as Warcraft 3, 75 seconds is a long time. And it's still 4 times longer than most Warhammer spells. God dang. Yo, oh my gosh. And then of course you have your, like, damage abilities, right? But even the damage abilities are cooler. Chain Lightning does most of its damage to the first target, jumps to the next, deals slightly less, jumps to the next, deals slightly less. Oh my goodness. Meanwhile, in Warhammer, we have Flock of Doom and Melkoths. One day. One day. Although I will say we do have some really cool spells, they're just not used. Like Missile Mirror is sick. Missile Mirror is pretty cool. Imagine that this game is 25 years old. Man. Yeah, I can't believe Warcraft 3 still holds up. Insane. Yeah, there are some cool spells though. You know, I think let's see, where's some real cool spells. Damage Reflect is a cool mechanic. I like Damage Reflect. Rampage is interesting, just has to be treated as a bit stronger. God dang, I'm actually kind of having a hard time finding some of the cooler spells. I'm like looking around, a lot of them are kind of boring. This one though, increases mass stone ground stance. Oh my god, imagine a stone ground stance meta. Now that would be sick. Stone ground stance meta. All right, imagine like you made it where your infantry can actually stop a stone horn. It should be mass plus 10,000%. You know, and then maybe people would use it for 8 wins. Missile mirrors, cool. How does damage reflect work exactly? It's 100% armor piercing spell damage. And it only applies when the unit actually gets hit. So that means if a Nurgling, Regiment of Renown, over here, gets hit by an Empire Spearman and they miss, they take no damage. If the Empire Spearman hits this Nurgling unit and deals damage to them with melee damage, it can be a charge, it can be a normal attack, whatever. As long as it's a melee attack that does damage, they take 10 damage, resisted by missile resist. Pretty funny because that means Khorne. Indeed. Khorne takes less damage from from damage reflect. Now, I don't know how that makes sense, but that's how it works. Yes, the Nurgling ability counts as a spell. Everything counts as a spell, so that's how it works. Warcraft 3 is cool, but do they have a big ghost bear that one-shots everything with spooky cannons? Not a lot of spooky cannons, actually. Not a lot of spooky cannons, but they do have giant bears. Do they have big ghost bear that one-shots everything, though? They have ghost cows that can revive. Tauren Chieftain's pretty hype. And anyways, at least their units see usage. Does anyone play with the big spooky ghost bears? When was the last time we saw the Frozen Heart of Winter? This guy has straight up crazy AoE. Nobody uses it because it costs 2,200. I guess there's Misha, you know, you can get some Rexar action. They have boats. Warcraft 3 confirmed does have boats. Your channel made you fall in love with Warhammer multiplayer. Oh, yo, that's hype, man. Happy to hear. Honestly, I feel like multiplayer really helps with the longevity. I don't know if I could just play campaign, you know? No one said bear. Ghost boat. I can't read. Sorry, look, I didn't get enough sleep last night, okay, guys? I didn't get enough sleep. Cut me some slack, alright? Ghost boat. No one uses the boat either, man. Don't judge. Yeah, Warhammer 3 multiplayer is actually fairly beginner friendly. And you can climb to becoming one of the best players in like a few months if you really grind. All right, let me get some water. I need water. But yeah, I guess Warcraft 3 does not have a ghost boat. And most of the multiplayer scene does not have boats. Though they are in campaign. Alright. Advancing the Swiss. The Goblins. Round 2. Who we up against? Pizu. If I lose this one, I'm out. Yo, yo. That's the benefit of having the thingamajig. The benefit of having the buy round is that you get one free win. Downside, you better win the rest of them. You better win. So I'm top bracket. I'm the first one banning, and the map is Rift at World's Edge. All right. What are his factions? Yeah, Warhammer doesn't have a big enough community to find people exactly at your level. 2 times Dark Elves, Kislev, Beastmen, and Tomb Kings. Okay. Tomb Kings I would like to try fighting. Get rid of let's see here. I'll get rid of Beastmen here. They seem a little annoying, and probably Kislev. So it's either he has to play Dark Elves or Tomb Kings. That's not too bad. What's up, Leroy the cat? Hello. See here. You not sleeping enough seems to be a common occurrence. Life gets in the way, it happens. He picks Dark Elves. I would like to learn Khorne into a lighter kite faction like Dark Elves. Demons of Chaos versus Dark Elves. I don't know how I feel about Demons of Chaos and Dark Elves. Feels kind of sus. Which means I should practice it. So Khorne, Demons of Chaos, and Vampire Coast. Now these are not good matchups into Dark Elves, but it's Dark Elves, man. The Garbo? They gotta be Garbo, right? How does the wounds passive work with healing? Does it remove the wounds effect? No, I think it stays. Let me double check. Duration infinite. Oh, sorry, 1 second. I have something to do. All right, we're goodies. There's some apartment maintenance that needs to be done. All right, he wants to play versus Coast. Okay. There's some apartment work. All that. Here we go. Coast versus Dark Elves. Been a while. For the Skull Reapers. I'll see if I can fit him in. Someone wanted to see the Terracotta Sentinel the other day. But I'm not playing any what's it today, unfortunately. Not playing any Cathay. God, my brain, I cannot think today. I might go for a shorter stream today. I want to do some coaching, but I kind of feel a little out of it, I'm not gonna lie. Let's see here. What is the build? Don't do it if it's gonna be a throw. Alright. Well, I'll still see if I can fit him in. Skull Reapers are kind of cool. They look way better than they perform. I've never actually tested them before. The way I understand it, they're basically worse Wrathmongers. They're worse Wrathmongers, but still not that bad. All right. So I definitely want to do this. How scary can this guy possibly be, right? Take that nap, you get some rest. I've been putting out more videos recently. I've been putting in that extra work. So a rest would be nice. You want to see Exalted Great Unclean One? Mortis engine on Demons of Chaos. Wait, sorry, 1 second. Are you back? Alrighty. Vampire Coast against Dark Elves. Ooh. Anyone know if Depth Guard are good here? Probably not, I would imagine. I would assume you probably don't go for Depth Guard. Ooh, this is a fun build. Okay, I kind of like where this is going. Then we take some of these. You go for a couple of these. Yo, anyone know about animated Hulks and if they're good or not? I keep looking at animated Hulks, but every time I take them, I feel bad. Yo, Vampire Coast needs access to the Damned Paladin. They need a ghost character that they can field. You know, kind of like a mini Green Knight. Look at him. Well, you can't look at him, but he's basically a mini Green Knight. Won't Depth Guard work against most Dark Elf infantry? I don't know. I'm a little worried they get shot into oblivion. Maybe I'll take a one of. For the lulz, you know, most coast units are fairly... Like, most of the backline defenders are pretty interchangeable anyways. So, by the way, Depth Guard pole arms actually have really nice stats. They actually do kind of shred infantry. Plus, they have melee defense, so they live a bit longer. Armor piercing, too. I feel like Depth Guard pole arms, I might just like more than the normal. Alright. Here we go. Let's see it. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed I don't get annihilated. I might have to close my camera quickly, by the way. Mid-battle. Do not be alarmed if I just kind of flip it like this. I will still be playing. Hulks always feel underwhelming. They are cheaper ogres. If you think of them like ogre bowls, it's not that bad. Who'd win in a fight? The vampire counts or undead from Warcraft 3? Ooh. Ooh. I feel like, let's see, technology-wise, it's looking fairly similar, right? I assume we're talking undead without the Burning Legion. I think that would sway things pretty hard. Warhammer Universe is pretty bombastic. Ooh, man, that's a hard one. Let's see. Are there any like deal breaker units that really change things up? They both got dragons. Does the Lich King? I think it depends on if the Lich King solos Vlad or not. I think that's the big thing. Anyways, here's the build. It's the Bat Squad. He has 2 harpies, fine by me. 3 harpies, you mad lad. Now you're getting insane. So all I really gotta do is just summon in my fell bats, contest the skies. If these guns live, I should be okay. We're not gonna waste our shot on the Dark Riders. I'm just gonna get my first pot shot on the harpies, because they are expensive, right? There we go. Get our first shot off. Nice. Not the biggest volley, though. I've definitely had better. He has a fairly large melee force, too. And a regiment of renowned crows. Okay. I see how it is. So this guy kind of knew what I was up to. He kind of knew that I would be probably going for a Vampire Coast crazy air force, right? Regardless, I have a couple pot shots here. This Blade Storm, okay. Totally fine, totally fine. Let's just get our volleys off real quick. Damage is gonna be slow, but steady. Gonna be slow, but steady. As long as I get enough guns here, I should be okay. Whoop. I'm gonna have to play very carefully. Night Terrors absolutely dumpster his infantry line. That should be easy enough. Pretty good pot shot over there. I think he's gonna try and get a Blade Storm here. Let's get a charge. Okay, we're gonna go here. I'm actually just gonna land my bats into my zombies. It should be good enough, really. Those are his Dark Riders, so we'll get doggos. And then if I just kind of use my doggos on him, I think we're okay. Now, where are his Crows of Cain? Are those Cold One Knights? Oh, those are Cold One Knights. Okay, you know what? I should probably be Buna them instead. Overall, it looks like most of his Harpies are having a ludicrously bad time in this environment. And the frontline fight is going rather miraculously. I must say, I'm a little impressed with how that went. That went exceptionally well, I must say. Nice. Very nice. Okay. Well, if he's gonna have no more Harpies, I guess it's totally over. I just have to get these guys back in the air and I'm okay. A couple Doomfire Warlocks in here, totally fine. I got a second line of infantry specifically for these crazy Dark Elf rush builds. Fly, you fools, fly. There you go. So they've taken back up into the skies now. And I'm just gonna spam out Hulks into the horizon while we take up into the skies. Kill off these here Doomfire Warlocks. Trading wise is going absolutely immaculately for us. Nice, nice. And if I just kind of keep spamming zombies now, I think he just dies. Though we will have to see. Like the Moringles are definitely crushing it. My Fellbats are doing okay considering the circumstances. A lot of the ammunition on these guys hasn't been used yet, which does make things a little sus. But I think we're still fine. Probably don't want to waste Spirit Leeches on his Lord. We just kind of want the Night Terrors to live, right? Oh, his passive does trigger, though. Little spooky. Just a little bit spooky. Leadership is doing pretty good, though. Overall, for all my boys. Let's just get the doggos back, I guess. I'll just get the doggos back. We have his Harpy shut down. He still hasn't killed the Night Terrors. Does get a pretty nice Blade Storm there, though. He's cycle charging a lot, but anyways, he should just be out of unit soon, right? The Halberd backline is just a menace. It's an absolute menace. I will say that my bats are really refusing to shoot, aren't they? They are really refusing to shoot. Got another dog, though. The Doggy Swarm. You never expect the Doggy Swarm to crush it so hard, but they do. Okay, looking pretty good. His Crows of Cain are dead. Very expensive going for so many of these Harpies. Very expensive indeed. Okay, so we just focus those Dark Riders now. And then it's a simple matter of recapturing me a few points. We get that done. Totally fine. I just have to start sending out the tide, right? Just start sending them out. Just walking forwards, getting the job done. He does have another Harpy unit over here. Honestly, totally fine by me. I do have another fell bat here. And you know what? That's good enough to Buna, I think. That's probably good enough to Buna. Alright, here we go. Zombie tide commenceth. I gotta be a little fast here. I don't have that many, I have that many tickets, you know? Okay, nice. So that Harpy unit's gone. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Nice. This situation is secured. Hell yeah. Yeah, honestly, I feel like taking the Harpies is kind of bait. I feel like it kind of screws you over taking Harpies. I feel like every time I see my opponents run Harpies, they just kind of get murdered. Maybe I'm gravely mistaken, but they kind of fold. They kind of just fold instantly. Value trade off the charts, it really is. So some insane trades. Some absolute insanity trades. My magic's gone 1,000 value, which is okay as far as magic is concerned. But yeah, honestly, I feel like he shouldn't have gone for that big dive. I think that's what screwed him over in the end. He went for a giant dive on my lines when really there wasn't much pressure to do so outside of my guns. But like, they have so little damage. Is it even that worth it? I don't know. Doomfire Warlock's going down now. This is captured, right? Okay, good. Very good. So I just gotta stop him from recapturing and just close out this here game. Great thing about these bats is that they are very mobile. So they can support which direction I decide I want to conquer. A little bit of a Dark Rider charge here. So we get the doggo counter charge. Love it. Nice. And then can I get a big volley here with my bats? I don't know. They can always be so janky. There we go, though. Pretty brutal loss over there. These Dark Riders are getting shot up. Wondrous. These ones got routed off. Nice. And then if I just keep spamming dogs, I think we win this. Honestly, the dogs, again, really nice work done. I will say, these gun bats take forever to get their shots off, man. Melmo with the win. We are not bringing back Melmo. I ain't going back. You can't make me go back. Holy crap. Yo, they kind of got mulched. Yeah, the gun bats are really weird. I don't know how I feel about them. On one hand, they seem terrible. On the other hand, they're kind of cooking. He taps out. 1-1-1-1. And that's going to be the first proper victory of the day. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. I don't know how I feel about that. I think he kind of just made a misplay. Like, I don't think the build is that amazing. This gunbat's got... Yeah, they didn't even pay for themselves. They paid for themselves by making them suicide as harpies. Doggos did fine. Not that great, though. Cathay is one of your best factions now, I suppose. Oh, God. Cathay meta begins. Yeah, they do force the issue. It stops them from playing ultra passive. Like, they serve an important role and they kind of evenly trade, which is everything you could really want. You can land them. Put them on the ground. And you're doing good. His Cold One Knights did terrible. So the big difference I did this game compared to the last is instead of starting with pistols, I start with halberds and normal zombies. You can see how painful they are. You know. This one got 477 value. Though I think I summoned them twice, but they essentially just pay for themselves. While the bats do the rest of the work, and the night terrors kind of rout them. Hulks did okay, 400 values, fine. Interesting. Very interesting, huh? It's kind of funny though. So he brought the maximum number of harpies. He literally could not have had more harpies, and he still kind of got air dominated. I kind of wonder what would happen if he just didn't go for any harpies and went full ground game. Because you can probably just rush this to death, and these guys would take too long to actually clean up. Though completely unharassed, they might like snipe your lord or something. They can probably position right behind your cav and shoot him up. I don't know if they have weird line of sight issues too. I should test that. Let me see. So let's say I'm playing as... We're playing on Troll Country. And I'm playing as Vampire Coast. I have 4 deck dropper handguns. And we're going up against Dark Elves. And they have... You know, like 2 units of cav. I want to know if stacking up my handguns is making it where they can't shoot. Because it felt like they weren't really landing their shots or something. I should take your Kislev single entity rush build into ladder. Do it, man. Do it. It's sick. With the roster being so slow on coast, wouldn't they be susceptible to heavy ranged play? Congratulations, you solved... You figured out the counter to coast. Indeed, they do suffer from heavy range play. Unfortunately, Dark Elves are not that good at cheap ranged. So they're actually not the best. They're not the best for that specific circumstance. Alright, so what I want to see is this. So I have a unit in the way. These guys shoot. These guys shoot. The ones in the back are firing. But will they use the same amount of ammunition? The answer is no. What if it's a partial clipping? Yeah, so now they're using ammunition. This one, so it's kind of weird. So they can still get their shots off, but it's definitely slower. So instead of microing the bats like this, I should be microing them more like this and like fully spread them out so they don't overlap, so I can maximize the value on them. Because in a situation like this, they're actually not that bad. Their DPS is fairly good. You know, if you can kill off a cold one night or take them down to half HP in like 20 seconds. It's pretty nice. It's pretty good. Like, you know, you only have to kill like 4 cold one nights and these guys pay for themselves above and beyond, right? So, yeah, just make sure they're as spread out as possible and you're fine. I don't know why these guys are not targeting the right guy, though. Are they still gonna target wrong? Okay, no, there they go. Yeah, there's a little bit of a issue with overkill, too, but... Yeah, okay. So they can shoot. Nice. Good to know. Good to know. But yeah, Queen Bess. Queen Bess is a little rough. I don't know how much I like Queen Bess. Problem with Queen Bess is it can get hard countered. Wait, did I forget to increase my Swiss points? Crap, I did. I forgot to increase my Swiss points. That's my bad. That's actually technically mild tournament manipulation because I got matched into Pizu, who lost their first round. I should have ended up playing against someone that won their first round. That's my bad. God dang it, I keep rigging my tournaments. Rip. When's tourney starting? Already has started. We're already 2 rounds in. Okay, so Navigator 1-1. So Navigator should be at 1 Swiss point, not 2. Ban him. Ban him up. Angels of Decay have the same problem. Yeah, well, you know, hopefully in the next patch that will eventually come, we'll see something there. Cheat City. Cheaticity. He keeps striking. Yo, is it just me or are the patches like taking a while, man? Wasn't last DLC like Christmas? I guess they did have some good patches in between. But like, man, I want a good mix up. Give me a good mix up. You know, I think I know what it is. It's because the last patch, the meta was very similar to how it is today. The only difference is that Beastmen is slightly weaker now. They're a little bit more reined in, but despite that, their win rate's still through the roof. Slaanesh is still banned. There were no crazy spell changes outside of Ash Storm being slightly cheaper. Straight up Ash Storm got cheaper, guys. By 2. What a meta-defining change on CA's part. I can't believe it. Although they did change the lore of the hags, which did result in my new Kislev build. I don't know if they changed any of the spells that I'm using, but that part's pretty interesting. Warcraft 3 gets more patches than StarCraft 2. Okay, well, honestly, I feel like I am enjoying Warcraft 3 a lot right now. I'd probably play that over StarCraft. That's terrific. Hello. Member for 15 months. God dang. What's up? Is that just a highlighted message, or did you like redo your membership? I don't actually know how it works. People were mentioning. Oh, sorry, 1 second. All right, maintenance is complete. I don't have to worry about nothing no more. Work goodies. Everything's done. That's a free highlighted message. Hype. You can send member messages every once in a while. Hell yeah. What's up, man? Yo, if you ever want to use your highlighted messages to ask for units, feel free to. Make use of the power bestowed upon you with the power of cash money. Might as well, right? Anyways, yeah, deck dropper handguns, they're okay. CA should increase their entity count up to increase their entity count to 120. You know, it's a little too low right now, right? Just make the unit cost like, you know, 3,000 gold, but entity count 120. I feel like that would be a nice way to balance it. What about asking for a specific banner? Go for it. Go for it. Do it. Hey, Darastrix. Thank you very much. Welcome to the crew. How goes, good sir? Hope you've been enjoying. Patch or DLC, because bug fix patches are pretty often now. They're like decently often. I think the bug fix patches, I like them, but I wish they were a little bit more substantial. I think last patch was pretty underwhelming, though some of them were pretty cool, even with like the addition of new units. It's kind of a toss-up, but like I'm itching for a shake-up, you know. I'm ready for some new meta shenanigans. I want Slaanesh to not be banned all the time. Although I will say the meta is really healthy right now. They really knocked it out of the park. It's actually pretty cool. Going great. Hell yeah. I gotta keep an eye on this so I can progress the bracket as soon as possible. We got a decent number of signups today. I'm hoping I can master the Vampire Coast. Like Vampire Coast, I feel like I gotta learn how to play them properly. Oh, nice. And we're done. Advancing the Swiss. At Goblins. Round 3. Who are we up against? I'm up against Serika. Hell yeah. Yo, yo. Serika. Very strong player. Elf enjoyer. Specifically Wood Elves. I would not be surprised if there are 5 factions. It's literally just all Wood Elves. In which case, I'm pretty screwed. Because, I'm pretty screwed. Because a lot of my factions are not very strong into Wood Elves. But here, I have Dwarves, I have Khorne, I have Lizard Men.
Exalted great
I guess that's it.
Would be awesome.
I guess that's it. Holy crap, that's pretty bad. Dwarves, Khorne, and Lizard Men. All right, give it to me. Exalted Great Unclean One on Demons of Chaos would be awesome. I would play Demons of Chaos against something other than Wood Elves. Something other than Wood Elves would be nice. Against Wood Elves, I'm kind of asking to get murdered. I will try to get a Great Unclean One though, especially if I can play against like Vampire counts or something. That would be the best situation. No, Exalted Great and Clean One's actually not that bad. He's pretty cool Mortis. Any melee faction would fear him, I think. Like Beastmen? Oh god. He wants to play versus the Lizards. Okay. Lizardmen versus Wood Elves is a very old matchup. It's a legacy matchup, people. Want Decrepit more. Okay. So the Lizards, can they cook? I feel like I'm a dead man. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I'm an absolute dead man, but options abound indeed. I should have a handful of tools. I can get the Shredder of Lustria. Shredder of Lustria builds pretty jokes. Always, always. Turn should have a bounty to have all 4 greater demons. You can't though. Large single entities you can only have 3 of. So it's literally impossible, man. Sad, I know, but it's life. That's life for you. Wood Elves. How bad can they be? Can't be that bad, right? Totally manageable. Totally manageable. I've never had a hard time versus them ever. Never. Never in my life. So why am I sweating so hard? It's because they can obliterate me if they so choose to. If they want to. Not that they have to. One is Lord, other three are single entities. Nope, Lord also counts, brother. The Lord will also count. What a sad time indeed. Huh. All right. So I can do this. Spending wise, it's a little annoying. I guess this works okay. I guess this works fine. I don't like it, but I guess it's okay. Or I guess I could do, Okay, this is okay. This is okay. Is it the best? No. Is it okay? Yes, this is fine. Can't possibly be a large single entity then? Say what? Just need to adapt the Danish pet name. What's this? Let's call him Lil Ol. Small Funkle. Teeny tiny Funkle. Itty bitty baby. Let's see, Wood Elves. So I got a decent build, I'd say. I got a decent build. Is it any good? Only one way to find out. Is this build good? It's kind of hard to tell, I'm not gonna lie. It is a little bit hard to tell if this build is actually good or not. This isn't actually a pretty cool tool. Okay. Sure. I only got 5. I got 5 money unspent. It's pretty chill. It's pretty chill. Good luck, thank you. Is this the matchup for the Coatl? Absolutely not. Although people have been using the Coatl for its lightning bolt to kill artillery. You think you can win a tourney as Norska? Yeah, it just takes 6 skirmishers every game. And they probably won't be prepared for it. I think I can't consistently win with Norska, but 6 skirmisher builds have a tendency to just win you the game sometimes. Like straight up, give me 6 skirmishers and I have like a 25% chance of winning a tournament at least. At least. I just have to not run into very specific players. There's like a handful of players that like factions that just beat them up. But like Norsk is not a bad faction. They got some oomph to them. Man, I'm really interested to see what he goes for though. Don't chameleon skinks rock versus wood elves? They're okay. If Furuncle got to casting normal rancid visitations, would he be viable? No. The problem with Furuncle is that there are some cases where he will get 0 value. If you give him, you know, 200 gold worth of rancid visitations, let's say, he gets 200 gold, which is not enough. He needs to be cheap enough where you can bring counters to the things that kill him. And he also needs to be worth bringing over an Exalted Great Unclean One. And no one's running Exalted Great Unclean Ones anyways. So there's just nothing. He's just bad. Like, you need a really crazy melee single entity meta before you see Furuncle. Because you already have the Great Unclean One. Would people just take normal Great Unclean Ones, not even the Exalted ones? They might. They actually might. Put Furuncle on a horse. Yeah, just like that Elden Ring dude. What was it? Rakarth. I think it was Rakarth. Put him on a horse. Give him like a little dinky horse. He's like galloping around. Gets his giant chain flail whipping it. It literally is just Elden Ring. Pretty jokes? Alright, now I went for a boring build because... Oh yeah, did I say Rakarth? I said Rakarth. Not Rakarth, Radon. Radon. They both start with R-A. It's Karabthir and Charix all over again. Yeah, Rakarth is a dark elf. Holy crap. Man, I am slowly going insane, aren't I? Anyways, I went for a boring build. I'm just going Cav Max. Look, I know it's not that exciting to many of you guys at this point. You've seen it a million times. But I just gotta do it. Because I feel like Wood Elf Infantry is just way too strong right now. I literally just can't contest their infantry. So I'm gonna go Cav Max instead, and we will go from there. I like Cav Max. All right, sick. Good that we have some people that enjoy it. He's gonna see the 8 units. He's gonna know something's up. If he spams spears, I have Pterodon riders. If he has an archer core at all, they're just gonna die. Burning head, fireball, because I had an extra little bit of money lying around. He says have fun. Doesn't offer me good luck, this guy. Okay, so double Melkoth's caster. Okay, so I'm just gonna hang back with my expensive cav. And then we'll capture this first point. We'll go here, hopefully overextend. He does have Firebark Elders, kind of jokes. They give fire resistance. It's kind of funny. How many entities are these? Not many. No, I should just... Like, if he's not gonna have any archers, I might as well, right? I might as well. Like, what's he even gonna do? You think he's gonna punish the Pterodon squad? I don't think so. I think the Pterodons are gonna delete his face off. The Pterodons are the pressure, the cavalry is the executioner. So we're just booking it in with the Pterodons right now. Firebark Elders, I'll just have to cast my magic away from them. That should be good enough. Alright, now where are your skirmishers, dude? No, he has some Glade Guard Hagbane tips. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Hawk Riders with Loic's Blessing. Now that's a spicy meatball for sure. Okay. So he went for Loic's Blessing Hawk Riders. Wow. So I'm probably just gonna have to go on the hyper aggression then, right? Does have a lot of archers here. Fairly undefended. I just want like one more cav unit though, and then I think I can just go for it. I just need the one more cav unit. He only has a handful of spears. Who cares, man? Oh, okay. Loic's Blessing ran out. Sure, I'll take that. It begins then. Face the wrath of the lizards. I have healing. That should be pretty hype. So we're just gonna start off. I'm just gonna go here. Just gonna go for a big ol' collapse on his lines. If I get rock drops on his spears, it's totally over. You can see him pulling back to safety right now. I got the fear in him. He's not even pushing up with the Hawk Riders. You don't have that much HP, so that shouldn't be a big problem. There's his first Melkoths, overcasted, which is actually a little painful for him. Just a little bit. Do I have to fight him though? If he's playing this defensive, do I have to fight him where he is strong? Probably not, right? Probably not. Yeah, I'm just gonna get another one of these, and then I'm just gonna capture his points, and then I'm gonna back it up. Whatever. Kind of used up a lot of magic there. He kind of used up a good amount of magic for the Melkoths. Statuette of Spite is pretty jokes. Gets a normal, non-overcast Melkoths, though. Yeah, that's kind of painful. So Melkoths is painful, but I have the Rev Crystal, which he was not ready for. So this thing can actually heal up my dudes, which means I actually have a counter to Melkoths. He's not ready for it. Dodge him up, you little slon. Dodge him up. Yo, the counterplay to the slow grind Melkoths. The sick revival tech, Rev Crystals. You'll love to see it. Anyways, he has a limited ammunition pool. That should hurt him pretty bad. Whoop. Good dodge, good dodge. Rev Crystal value can be huge if I play this outright. Rev Crystal value can be rather large if we do this just right. I'm gonna feign a capture on this point to try and get his archers to push forwards. Lord took a little bit of damage though. These overcasts are hurting him a lot though. It's not too pretty. Gets another flyer. Okay. That's kind of crazy. I feel like I can just cav rush him then. I feel like I can totally just cav rush him. Like, I don't know about you guys, but this should be pretty painful, right? I think we just go for it. Oh boy, that's a good one. That's an oopsie doopsies. That's an oopsie doopsie daisies. Good burning head. Holy crap. Alright, there you go. So just get some of that action. His Hawk Riders can't do too much. He has no units here to support this flank. So then we can just go for it, right? We just totally go for it. Get a surround on these boys. Get them killed. I've used up all my rock drops, so no more of that action. But otherwise, I think we're doing fine. Lord's doing okay. Gotta get my AoE in there. But overall, Pterodons are doing fine. Definitely gonna need to get more cav in. But, yeah, he should just lose all of these dudes, right? Like, these burning heads are massive, and all he has are a couple Melkoths. That's not particularly scary, I'm not gonna lie. It's literally just a bunch of Melkoths. The damage on them is not that bad. Now, he will kill the flyers, but, like, he went so hard on the flying core that I really feel like they won't be able to cook too well. Yes, I am down trading slightly here, but with the catching of his archers, that should change things rather quickly. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. We go fight here. Blood Statuette. Pterodons are doing fine. Then we get a big charge. Leadership. Hell yeah. A little leadership boost over there. He's doing a pretty good job defending his boys, though. He is doing a pretty good job defending his boys. Routed off a hell of a lot of Pterodons, that's for sure. But now I have a Cav core in here. A Cav core. I got my dudes. Have a decent-ish situation. Good charge on his Hawk Riders. That does make things a little bit spookier. Do I win this Cav fight? Questionable. I don't know how this pans out. Sure, I have the capture, but I feel like I'm slowly down trading, which is gonna end up screwing me over. Decent charge over there. I'm gonna try and just path my way forwards through these guys. His Dryads are going down, but god dang, them Firebark Elders are spooky. Okay, maybe I summoned too many flyers. His defensive posturing is definitely saving his dudes. I can get a pretty nasty burning head here at least, but he does have the Firebark Elders there to help out. Overall, Valley Trading is behind now. And yeah, I might be screwed. We'll have to see though. The defensive posturing is spooky. I route off most of his range units though. And he's committed a lot of his flyers. We'll have to see how this one ends up panning out. The, yeah, getting his flyers was actually pretty brutal. He got a lot of flyers in there. Double Melkot's pretty brutal versus Cav Max. I do have a couple elite horned ones here, though. They might be able to get some work done. I think he's totally got me, though. I think he's totally got me. Unless, yeah, the flyers that he took. I really didn't expect him to go for flyers. But, boy, were they brutal. Absolutely brutal. Hawk Riders, man. The Hawk Rider tech to deal with the rock drops. Pretty insane. Anything I can do here? I don't think I win against the Hawk Riders. Though, you never know. Maybe you do. Rock drops are decent. Bubble. Bubble it. Burning Head was good, but... yeah. I guess, I should have gone for the Chameleon Skinks then, right? I feel like a bunch of Skink Skirmishers would have done it. His Melkots ended up being a little bit too brutal. He got to play on the defensive. All right, that's GG. GG, well played. Such is life. Honestly, Wood Elves are pretty spooky. You can see how well their infantry held up. Yeah. I think if I... let's see here. So what do you have? So you had 2 Hawk Riders. The Hawk Riders got like ludicrous value, right? Yeah. No shutdown on them. So I actually did need to go for the Skink Skirmisher Core. Or like a Salamander kind of, you know, long-range Pseudo-Kite. A normal infantry army doesn't do well against this. Because double branch Wraith. Yee. Damage output is so much lower than on the Cathay composition. Yeah, the Cathay composition is way better. I think I just need something to work on the build. Did you lose? Yeah, he got me. He got me on that one. Will he go 4-0 though? If he goes 4-0, I still probably make it to semis. Let's see here. Honestly, these guys felt slow, man. They felt slow. I feel like if I went for like, I don't know. What if I just went for the Shredder of Lustria build? Could he have stopped it? I guess he had the flyers, right? So what's my shutdown for the flyers? I don't think Ripper Dactyls kill his flyers. Unless they do, unless the Rippers are a counter. Your opponent disconnected on your first try with a single entity build? Hell yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so Chameleon Skinks. Chameleon Skinks are probably my biggest out there. Because he only had a couple archers, right? The archers are a pain in the butt to deal with, though. Honestly, I feel like I like the Shredder build more. I don't know. Lizard feels kind of weird. Kind of felt like it was just a struggle. Like the cavalry, if I'm not taking cavalry, it would be that or salamanders, right? But they still eat the Melkoths. So like, is it really just the Shredder of Lustria build? I guess it is. I guess I just have to run the Shredder build versus that. Because the Shredder build won't die to the Hawk Riders. Shredder build is fine. Chameleon skink spam is probably pretty good there too. Four stalkers, 2 orbital lasers, 1 fire salon. Oh man. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm used to the pterodon riders actually just crushing it with the rock drops. I was really surprised to see hawk riders that time. I guess so. Like if you look at wood elves, right, hawk riders are 1000, so I'm not really doing that much of a good trade if I'm summoning in a whole like, you know, a whole ripper dactyl to deal with hawk riders. That just seems like a really bad choice. You know, I could cut the fire salon, but then I don't have any infantry clear. Honestly, the Lizardman cavalry felt real underwhelming. But you can't just have the shredder build, otherwise they hard prep for it. Tic-tac-toe. No, funnily enough, tic-tac-toe would be good versus his specific build, but he'd be really bad versus a lot of other wood elf shenanigans. What I need is like either like a fat infantry rush, or I need to get him to advance towards me with like, I don't know. Would an ancient stegodon do anything? Can I, does that do enough damage? You know, maybe solar engines actually. Just to get him to advance, right? On the defensive, it's really rough. Okay, so Son of Heaven should have 1 Swiss point. I think Razordons are fine. My opinion on Razordons is they're okay. This is why we have Lizardmen here, by the way. Don't know how to play them properly. Tempest plus Fiery Convocation, easy. And Fiery Convocation for the infantry clear, that's pretty jokes. Let's see. So in no way you're winning the infantry fight. Dryads up trade into everything. And they have their elite dudes to cleave through Saurus. So you're not going to win through the frontline fight unless you have a lot of support. Dino support gets focus fired by his Starfire shafts, and you don't command the skies. If you're not commanding the skies, I think I would have to go for Solar Engine. I think I would need to go for like a Solar Engine-esque play to make it work. Yeah. Sirika's a spooky player though. Wood Elves especially is a very powerful faction right now. Looks like, okay, so this is done. Sampo loses his game against Zone. Interesting. So Sampo should have 1 Swiss point. Sampo. You should have 1 Swiss point. I have 2. I should still be fine. I think as long as I win the next one. If I lose the next one, obviously we're not making it. But optimism is my thing indeed. Yeah, I think Solar Engine is what you want to force them forwards. I think without the Solar Engine, it's really bad. Also, that map was really good for him. Wood Elves get a buff fighting in the trees. It's pretty spooky. All right, advancing the Swiss. Announcement tourney at Goblins. Round 4. You have to learn Lizardmen. Lizardmen's like one of my least played factions. I only have like the 1 build. Now there is like maybe something to be said about using Skink Cohort. Let's see here. I do need a way to shut down his backline, but you can use the Fire Salon for that. It's not too bad. If you're cutting all cavalry though, your skinks aren't going to cut it. So you do need something to kill his cav, and in that case, I don't really have much. You know, maybe like a Mazda Mundi net of Amintok. But like, I can't just not run cav, and I can't just feed his Melkoths. The 3-1 calls. Yeah, I was just really surprised by the Hawk Riders. That's a really interesting tech. It's kind of like deck droppers, but spookier, isn't it? Okay, we're up against Outer Region. Yo, yo. All right, here we go. I'm gonna have to kick you, Nerexa, because we have a match. Outer Region. Here we go. All right, I can beat Outer Region. Maybe not with Lizardmen. But we'll see. We'll see. What do we got? So he's top bracket. He's banned in 2. Okie dokie. Solar Engine supported by Saurus supported by Solar Engine, Javelin, Skinks, and Skirmishers, and plus Flock of Doom to counter Scarvet Anti-Large plus Cold Wind Riders. So like the Cold Wind Riders are gonna die to Melkoths, right? He has double Melkoth, so it's kind of, he's just hard countering them. He's all Nurgle. Oh my god. Nurgle purist today. Okay. Let's see here. I'll go. He's Nurg maxing it. What's the map? You know, I'll go Demons of Chaos. I'll go Demons of Chaos regardless of the map. I think this is a good practice for me. Altar of the Champion. Okay. Oh, altar. There we go. That is spelled incorrectly, right? I'm not crazy. All right, looks like Corsair has to drop. So attack speed enjoyer gets the win. Let's see here. Attack speed enjoyer has 3 wins and 1 drop. Okay. So that makes it fairly close. Fairly tight race we have going on here. Very interesting. If I win though, attack speed enjoyer doesn't have that many opponent points. Outer Region has a lot of opponent points. So if I win this, I'm probably fine. As long as Serica wins this, if Serica wins his next match, we're goodies. All right, so yeah, I'm playing Demons of Chaos, eh? The Demons. Interesting. So Demons of Chaos versus Nurgle. A fun matchup indeed. A lot of fighting. A lot of big grinding that has to go down. But Nurgle is not that spooky. Their options are rather limited. The only thing he has over me are his warriors and his rot knights. Warriors and rot knights are not the be-all end-all of the world. I shall survive. Hello, Charix, what's up? Why aren't you playing Saurus Infantry? Wood Elves have a 900 gold infantry that super up trade into them. Plus their Dryads do really well. And I don't really want infantry that down trade and are slower. You know, that means the only thing they can do is buy time. And I can't really think of a unit that I want to buy time for. Unfortunately. Wood Elves have some of the best infantry in the game right now. The only downside is they're like a little bit lightly protected armor-wise, but some of the best infantry. It's very spooky indeed. All right, so Nurgle, he's gonna have a lot of Plague Bearers, a lot of Exalteds. He could have an Air Force. He could go for some Dread Air Force, but that does not mean that we cannot manage. Nurgle in general. Nurgle in general ain't that bad. I don't think they really have a tool for that. Honestly, I feel like I should be fine. I feel like there's not that much he can bring that would be super devastating. It is a kind of a weird build, admittedly. This one right here, it is a little bit of a weird one. Hope you're doing good. I'm doing pretty good, just a little tired right now. Just a wee bit tired, but otherwise I'm doing fine. He does have Marauder Horsemen over me. He does have them Marauders, which is a little annoying, but I think I have more or less the tools that I need here to win. It's a really weird build though. Like this build. Oh, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna consult the list real quick to make sure I'm not missing anything on the Nurgle roster. So Nurgle, drones, great and clean ones, Noxbringer, Horseman, Toad Dragon, Foot Tarmacon, Trolls, Furies. You can bring the Beastmen dudes. That's pretty spooky. But yeah, okay. I think I'm okay. Foot Tarmacon's a little spooky, but he's not the end of the world. Isn't the meta to spam blues and pinks nowadays? Yeah, but I like to go a little off meta. So I went super hard single entity sniping build with an exalted great unclean one, which was suggested. He does have a Mortis engine, as long as I remember to take it. I did remember to take it, right?
Grandfather Nurgle's favorite.
Yes. Okay. Pestilent Decay. So the idea is that this guy's gonna dumpster all of his infantry. This guy's gonna dumpster his infantry. And then these guys dumpster his infantry and his single entities. Plague drones fight his plague drones. So I'm not going to get sniped. He has one Nurgling. Okay. He has a Chaos Sorcerer of Nurgle and Kaizek. Okay. Honestly, not too bad. So this is a very elite build. Nothing here costs less than 1,000. Which makes things rather expensive. But the Exalted Great and Clean one here should totally slap. You can see how infantry heavy he went, right? So it should just be able to dominate here. At least in theory. Can I get a 6 shot off? Oh my god. That was impressive. Mildly impressive shot from the Hell Cannon. That was crazy, man. What the crap? Dude, the Hell Cannon popping off. And now I have my Mortis engine here. So that's gonna be pretty rough for him. Then begins the Lord snipage. Get our Exalteds in here. Some of them may get flanked. I gotta be a little wary. You know, he has a lot of forces there. Let's just not fight that. And then I just start casting magic, right? I have a lot of fairly powerful magic here. Furies for these guys? Okay, that's pretty good for me. And then if I just get if I just get my dudes, I should be fine. Get my Fiends of Slanesh. They're pretty hype. You can see how bad the Furies trade into the Angels of Decay, by the way. Very badly. Just to say they trade extraordinarily badly. Fighting wise, we're doing goodies. Kaizak shouldn't be able to win that duel. And now my Exalteds are in. I have 1,000,000 of these dudes. And then 1 Fiend to stop his single entities from causing so many issues. We do that. and we're totally fine. In fact, his lord's already kind of dying. Isaac is eating the snipe potential. Holy crap, his lord's getting deleted. He does summon his own Angels of Decay, though. Kind of funny. My Angels of Decay have healing. His Angels of Decay have healing. It's kind of jokes. Can I get a Lord Snipe here or what? I would love a Lord Snipe. Unfortunately, his Angels are here. And I'm just going to have to fight him. Otherwise, my Lord dies. I do have some sick buffs and such. That should do pretty well. Hey, nice. We got a bit of a route. And debuffs. So just gonna debuff them. Buff over here. Lord is going to fight his single entities. Cannon can just rip a few shots in on his dudes. Nice. And then with the Exalted, I should be fine, right? I got sick heals too. There we go. Great surround on his Lord also. Now I feel like we're really making use of our powerhouse tools here. It's all coming together fairly well. His Angels of Decay ain't nothing compared to my Angels of Decay. I will get an extra Plague Drone here though, just to be safe. But my Lord value is absolutely through the roof. Nice, I got a little bit of a slow over there. Solid, solid. I just gotta clean up now. I just have to clean up the rest of this here mess. Because like he has a lot of units, right? And I do not have many. So yeah, that's kind of my biggest issue, right? Actually recapturing these points. Sure, I got a little bit of a terror out here. But yeah, it's gonna be a little sus. Now I can fight his Lord and all of that business. He is slowed, which is pretty nice for us. The Fiends are going ham. Isaac is also slowed. Okay, there we go. Then maybe I can just surround his Lord now. Capture points going slower than I thought it would, unfortunately. But otherwise, you know, you got a solid Lord surround. He's probably just dead. I got my Soul Grinder on the point too. Okay, there you go. Mortis Engine's doing fine. Yeah, I think I just need to get an Exalted Bloodletter to start cleaning up on the flanks, and then I'll be goodies. For Isaac, we'll just debuff him. God, I'm not capturing any of these points, am I? I am really not capturing any of these. God dang. He's really hunkering down. Alright, well, I'm just gonna have to pile on in then. If I don't capture this point anytime soon, we're boned. We're absolutely boned. Exalteds are doing good though. Fiends are getting in there. And I will have a fairly nice melee grind action going on here. You know, having my Great Unclean One popping off is good. I will have to manage his Angels of Decay, but other than that, I think we're okay here. A couple Nurglings are not a big issue. I have a speed boost. That's pretty cool. Just gonna cast this for the heal. Nice. Okay, let's just bully him. Now, it looks like the first point is finally going my way. Took me a little bit of a hot second. But we eventually got there. Exalteds are doing great, and that means I can now start playing for this far point. All I gotta do is get the Fiends there, and I'll be okay. I kind of wish I had more Nurglings at this point, because capture points are getting taken so slowly here. But I think I should still be okay. Like, Isaac's not that much of a beast. He's spooky, but he's not that much of a beast. Okay, there we go. We'll just get that into melee over there. He does save his Lord, but my Exalteds are doing fine. And he summons a unit of Forsaken, which do trade pretty slowly. Okay, there we go. Get them Fiends in. Nice. And this point is finally fairly well secured. Next up, we're going over here. Did he net those guys or what? I think he might have slowed them or something. So those Fiends are taking a little bit of heat, but I should be able to secure this far point now. Drones are going on in. I got the fiends and the cannon popping off. So they should be okay there. Value-wise, I definitely have a good lead. It's just securing our position that I need. The Soul Grinder especially has to live. He summons in Furies that do not participate in the capture weight situation. So that part's pretty dandy for me. The Exalteds have killed off his forces over here, hell yeah. But can I stop him from capturing? All I really have are more drones, I guess. I have a Soul Grinder that's getting bullied by Kaiser. And I have a couple Exalteds over here. Overall, though, I still have a lot of capture weight. So I'm still not too worried. Great Unclean One's doing good, too. And the Plague Drones are doing fine. Okay, I think we should be able to get this. Out of, yeah, just purely army losses, right? Him losing that point there is probably the end of him. Then I rear charge these Forsaken to get him killed. My Exalteds are in here. All right, let's go. All right, point secured. He's trying to get the D summon. Let's just, yeah, get that mini blast off to prevent that. I have nothing to summon. But I guess that means I have all my units on the battlefield, which I guess is a good thing. I guess it's a good thing. He's about to be triple capped. Yo, the Exalted Great Unclean One actually cooked though. Can you believe it? Exalted Great Unclean One was suggested by, was it donation or membership chat? It was suggested, and it actually worked. I Great Unclean One Nurgle. Never in my years did I think I would be able to beat Nurgle at their own game. Where is Olgor? Screw Olgor, man. Screw Olgor. Alright, there's another big heal. Baron to the Bog should go down. Dude, this is such a sick elite build, though. A lot of people lament the fact that we don't really see a lot of elite units. But how about this? How about this bad boy? Is this elite enough for you? Are you not entertained? I'm gonna have to summon Soul Grinders, though. That's kind of embarrassing. Soul Grinders don't really have much to do here. Crap, kind of friendly fired myself there. It's a little oopsie doopsies. Just has a couple Nurglings. They can't do that well. The Fiends are in the cookie jar. Alright, so artillery piece can go over there now. I can handle that. Overall, I have another debuff. Kablamo. Just really bully those Barons of the Bog. These guys I'm going to desummon because straight up I just need more units right now. I just need more units. And there we go. Yeah, and as soon as I get those Exalteds back, then he's super dead. Then he's ultra dead. This guy has 2,000 some odd value. Hell yeah, and he taps out. Hell yeah. Okay, well, there you go. That's as good as I can do. We get the 3-1 victory. We've defeated Nurgle at their own game with the elite Demons of Chaos. Stack. That's pretty cool. Just think when you finally try Skull Reapers, it'll surprise you just as much. Okay, so the Soul Grinder was not that useful, but he didn't have a lot of targets for it. The main thing was he made a big misplay summoning Furies against Angels of Decay. The one Fury he summoned, oh, you know, they did get 700 value. I think he summoned them twice, though. But yeah, and then he lost his Angels of Decay because I had better spell casting. The Exalted Bloodletters were gods, man. Absolute godsend. Nothing could kill them. Because he didn't have any real cavalry. He needed to use toads to kill them. But with the Fiends, he was going to have a hard time regardless. One thing I would change is probably just remove the Soul Grinder, get more infantry. But Exalted Great Unclean One. What a strong centerpiece. You usually don't see hyper elite builds either, but I think it's mostly because Nurgle's kind of Nurgle is a little bit more on the exploitable side. Especially when you can tussle in a melee grind against them. Heard I could find a greenskin main on this channel. God, when was the last time I played greenskins? Where are they on the list? I did pretty well with greenskins, so they got moved up, right? Yeah, right above Skaven, right below High Elves. That's exactly where they should be. What are the best units for air dominance? Angels of Decay. Angels of Decay are melee fighters that also are able to shoot. They are insanely powerful air fighters. God dang it, really? I'm still not making it to the finals though. Did my opponent lose? Did Serika lose? No, he didn't play yet. Okay, so Serika's playing against Sipa. I need Serika to win because right now my opponent points are not high enough. I need him to win. Right now the top 4 is Sipa, Oishi, Nacho Fur, and Serika. No, not like this. The Dread 3-1 not making it to semis. That's brutal. It's worse for attack speed and Joria, but come on, he's playing Wood Elves. He's playing his main. Man, Lizardmen though. I've seen a couple people try Lizardmen, but I don't think we have a single Lizardmen main outside of Lore Master of Sotek. I genuinely think the faction's a little weak right now. Also, yeah, Angels of Decay are amazing. They can beat Zinch in the air game. It's kind of insane. Meme build clowning on Mantide is the thing I like to see. It wasn't that memey. I think it was a fairly well constructed build. The scariest thing he could have brought though, although I think I had enough counters for it, was like quad Marauder Horseman. So had he brought quad Marauder Horseman and then like went an air game, it could have been a bit scary, but like who does that versus Demons of Chaos, right? Usually Demons of Chaos are the ones kiting you. And if you run into like 5 blues, it's just so risky. I don't think you want to do that. Which means the only thing he has to kill the Great Unclean One is like a Great Unclean One himself. But like you're not going to do that against blue spam. Like honestly the build is, I think it's built to beat people overreacting to blue spam. I think people are just you know, they get pretty stuck in the meta, right? A lot of people will just be like, you know, Demons of Chaos is blue spam, so I'm just gonna hard counter that. And then they kind of just forget to deal with other things. This is why my weird play styles always throw people in for a loop. Because yeah, if you always play standard, it's not too great. Unless you're just playing a strong faction where the standard is just so powerful that you're not going, like it kind of works against everything. You know, I think Wood Elves are really powerful there. Oh, that's hilarious. I have the 5 Drycha stack is Wood Elves, very strong. But yeah, like I think when you're playing as weaker factions, you do have to mix it up. Although I will say a lot of people do like diss me on my weird builds. I've been getting a little bit of like, you know, the last couple days, a lot of people like really don't like that I play weird styles, but like, I don't know, man. It's literally part of game theory, right? Like game theory, you can't just do the same thing over and over again, right? Nash equilibrium. You have to have like a mix of builds. You know, but I guess that's their problem. I don't think it's my problem. You know, if it wins, it's a good strategy. They don't like that I'm good at the game, maybe? I don't know. I think that gives me too much credit. But yeah, skew builds they're fun, but they're also important too. Like you legitimately have to do it. Otherwise, people know what you are gonna do. And I take normal builds often enough where they're not hard countering the skew builds either. So it means that it's working like really well. You know, like they're stressing out that I could take anything. And that can screw them over a lot of the times. Like you see how many times my opponents just counterpick themselves? It's perfect. Why don't people like you trying other factions or strategies? I think it's usually because my builds end up being really oppressive versus the current meta. I think that's usually what happens. So for them, it feels like I went meta, right? I'm getting punished for going, you know, the most popular strategies. And then, you know, and it's like, man, if I just went for like another, you know, if I just countered your build, I would have won, right? So like technically like the Kislev double Frostworm, you can easily make a build that counters this. You know, if you see it coming, you could totally just counter it. The thing is though, no one does it. Because no one in their right mind is going to bring a counter when a normal Kislev build might be brought and just run you over too. Which is why it's good, but it feels bad to play against. Also, my playstyle is very kitey, which means that they don't get to have fun. But that's just people not liking kite. Yeah, and a lot of my builds are cursed. Sometimes I run builds that are just way overcooked. But like, you know, I'm having a good time. I do wish I could like consistently win with the experimental builds, but yeah, we'll have to see. All chosen build when. Man, the chosen stack though, I really gotta learn the slow play styles. I gotta learn how to make chosen work. For the record, none of the players today were upset with me. At least I don't think so. If they were upset, they didn't let on. But like every once in a while, I get. If you saw the other day with the cat thing, people just rage quitting. That was crazy. What are the top 3 kite factions? Wood Elves. Wood Elves and Kislev and Empire are probably the most powerful factions that can kite. Because they have wagons and they have a lot of archers that can get work done. Yeah, I think that's it. I would say Wood Elves, Kislev, and Empire. 3 factions that I love very much. Can you go every color with an undivided faction? You can. You just gotta mix them in, right? You know, Slanesh Hellstrider, Khorne Chosen, Tzeentch Aspiring Champion, and a Nurgle Giant. It's beautiful. Where is the Nurgle Giant? Wait, yo, where's the Nurgle Giant? Can you not bring him here? I think I have too many single entities. Yeah, yo, where's the Nurgle Giant? There he is. Found him. Pretty fun. Serica still fighting against Sipa. I think my me making it to the finals entirely depends on Serica versus Sipa. If Sipa loses, their opponent points are high enough where they do win it. This is the downside of having that bye round. I just don't have a lot of opponent points at all. No, you can get different chosen. You can get the Slanesh chosen, and then wait, can you get Tzeentch chosen here? Where are they at? Wait, Tzeentch does have chosen, right? I'm not crazy. Yeah, Tzeentch have chosen. Do you have to is it in here? No, it's in here. Yeah, so you have to go here and then swap them to Tzeentch. Yeah, you can get chosen of each variety. Oh yeah, quad chosen, whip, double axe, halberd, and great weapon. What a magnificent combo. Serica wins against Sipa. Come on, give me this, give me the points. Really? Wow, I got ripped off, guys. I got ripped off by the bye round. It's Oishi, Sipa, Serika, and Nacho Fur. I was down by 1. Better than the attack speed enjoyer though. He was down by 1,000,000. That's what you get though for losing against the Wood Elves. All right. So we finalize that. We advance to top 4, and we'll go cast some games. Why not? Dang, unfortunate, man. Unfortunate. Yeah, that's crazy though. Losing to the top player in the bracket, and you don't make it. Brutal. Yeah, all these guys are pretty strong though. So it's all goodies. At Oishi. At Nacho Fur. You guys are up. Spec slot, please. At Serika, at Sipa, once again are facing each other. I think it's because Sipa, yeah, Sipa just barely beat me out with slightly better opponents. It makes sense. Guys can play. All right, here we go. What a shame. Clearly, I need to play more, I gotta play more Lizardmen. I gotta figure out their builds, man, because I really hate their infantry. Saurus is so slow. Unless there's like some mass Saurus shenanigans that can beat Eternal Guard at a decent pace. Hard maybe on that one. Hard maybe. Nah, I think it's just missing Solar Engine. Or you go crazy and get an Ancient Salamander, but... Coaching after this? I'm pretty tired. We'll see, we'll see. All right, here we go. It's time, people, for the semis. Five units of Skull Reapers. Ah, hell yeah. Oh man, it's getting real muggy. Whew. Oh man. Yeah, Salamander would totally be a risky pick of the day. Oh, whoops. Whoopsie daisies. Join this player. I wish the shooting beast squads with the quills. Oh yeah. Razordons. Razordons are cool. They're actually not that bad versus cavalry. I had a pretty good run though. Feel like build wise it was okay. Man, still think about that Lizardman build though. Dude, the Cavs suck. Double branch rate is brutal, man. I wouldn't want to take Lizardmen normally into Wood Elves though. Wood Elves, you know what? I'm putting that on the list. Against Wood Elves, against the Mantide style, you have to get ranged units that can force them forward. So in domination, Wood Elves are really powerful because they can play really close to their spawn points. And if they're really close to their spawn point, what ends up happening is that they can summon their incredibly fast cavalry and vanguard and slam into you before you can really react. So you need to get some artillery to push them forwards. Artillery is not bad because Arrows of Kronos is limited to 1. But yeah, I think as soon as you get them to march forwards, you can start picking them apart a little bit better. Yeah, I think Ancient Segadon or Solar Engine is fine. Segadon doesn't have too many targets, so it'd probably be a Solar Engine. And then you just plonk away. I'm pretty sure that's what you have to do, because if you don't really have any options. But Wood Elves really lack on the long-ranged firepower front, so it's not too bad. Yeah, alternatively, if you do go for the Ultra Rush, it has to be a big enough map where they can't reinforce really well. So the map that I played on was, like, they could sit almost inside the tree line and Vanguard right on top of me. It would have to be a really big map. Like, we're talking like Rift at World's Edge or something along those lines. And then you're good. And then you're set. Yeah. Or you just play Slanesh. Or you just play Slanesh and you have such a strong army that that you just run over them. You just pile driver them. How would you buff pure duelist lords like Tyrion? Duelist lords, the main problem they run into is getting bogged down by cavalry, and then they can't fight the duels that they want to. If it was a general buff to duelist lords, so like I think it's good that cavalry can surround and pin them down. How would I buff them? Honestly, like they're in a pretty good spot right now. I don't think they need a buff. They actually don't really need a buff because they're cheap, right? They're a cheap way to counter single entities, and they do their job, and they have a counter. Like, they're actually in a really good space. The only thing is with units like Tyrion, he's not cheap. So I would just make him cheaper because I don't want to ruin the balance dynamic, the counter and balance, you know. Yeah, I don't want to ruin the counters there. It's probably fine. Yeah, I think they're good. I think it's the foot characters that suffer a lot more. Foot characters need some sort of spells or extreme tankiness and be relatively cheap. Like, we're talking White Kings before they start becoming really viable. Suzetra, what's up? We're spectating the semifinals. I didn't make it. Bye round kind of screwed me. On the basis of fun, enjoyability, and flavor of faction/abilities, who's your favorite faction to play? Currently, Slanesh. Slanesh feels really nice to play. Though, if I want to play something more well-rounded, so like Slanesh is the best melee faction to play. And not just because they're OP. I think I would play them even if they were a weaker faction. But well-rounded factions? Kislev, man. Kislev are so good. They have real interesting magic, huge roster, or at least huge playstyle diversity. And shortly followed by Empire, who have fewer playstyles, but the ones that they play are just as fun as Kislev. And that's why they're at the top of my leaderboard in terms of knowledge to play. You didn't make it, but you were the chosen one. Yeah, I lost a Lizardman matchup, but it happens. There's always, you know, usually every tournament you have about 6 good players that you would expect to make it to the top 4. And a lot of the times, a little bit of matchmaking RNG will screw them over. A lot of the times, that's how it be. Skaven in me cries to hear that answer, but I agree. I love Slaanesh, but I hate they have to fight all the battles because it delays multiplayer campaigns. Oh, dude, Slaanesh in campaign, it's a pain in the butt. Yeah, Slaanesh in campaign is kind of sucky. Interesting. Greenskins versus Tzeentch, huh? I wonder how this will go. I feel like if I had to put my money down, I think Greenskins. Let's see here. So the biggest thing, it's usually Changebringers. One Changebringer in reserve is always a massive threat. So Greenskins, what do they have to deal with that? They have their weak skirmishers, they have their basic archers. The archers are kind of expensive. Tzeentch doesn't have a lot of great rush tools. Could end up seeing one of them go for the defensive playstyle. Okay, well, Tzeentch can't go defensive. Greenskins can, though. So they have Doom Diver catapults. Interesting. So what? Okay, yeah. 2 exalted dudes makes sense. Lot of cheap infantry. Greenskins. I like it. Pretty Moby maxed. Okay. Oishikun taking after your boy Anticity. Alright. So he's going for the Moby Max Greenskins versus Tzeentch. That's interesting considering we have 4 spears here. The Exalteds shouldn't be able to do much. Especially if they are but on normal steeds. So they're just on normal horses. Interesting. Do they have the RNG Fiesta? They do! Hell yeah, I love it. Plague of Rust, Searing Doom, okay. And then just a whack load of infantry. A lot of cheap infantry. Double stealth character here. Ah, okay, so he's been liking the fermented fungi, Tormentor Sword. And his magic this time around, different. Vindictive Glare. Weird. That's pretty good for sniping lords, though. Gorkle Fixit's a pretty nice way to win mobility fights, too. It's a solid slow. And there's the spiders for capturing. I would say this is pretty bad for Tzeentch. Now, he doesn't have a lot of Changebringer attack, right? So, potentially, we could see a tussle there. The thing is, though, if he summons a Doom Diver catapult in back, Tzeentch doesn't have the tools that they would usually have to shut it down. So now we're wondering. Tzeentch moving on up. So they're going for a little bit of capture point. Hokey pokey, okay. Makes sense. We're seeing a little bit of a capture on the middle point. Okay. Forest Gobbo Spider Riders. Very nice. So the Greenskins have the defender's advantage now against Tzeentch. And it's a pretty slow waddle. The thing is, though, Greenskins can't really fight this from the get-go. I'm sure the pump wagons are good, though. He actually brought the flappers. So they're pretty cool. 70 speed, pretty devastating charge. If these spears aren't braced well enough, they might just get deleted by the flappers. He can't bring in any more chariots, though, the Greenskins, because he is maxed out on 4. Spamming up the orc boys. Okay, makes sense. Gets his, okay. Has a couple snotling pump wagons over there. Ready to charge, but he's playing real defensive. He's really squeezing the value. Forcing the Tzeentch player forwards into an uncomfortable position. He also doesn't really want to fight yet, because he's not doing too great. A slow on the blues. Interesting. Okay. Sends in the flappers. They're not in position to shoot. Has some orc boys coming on in. Huge charge on the left flank. Those marauders get brutalized. And that's a pretty cool play. Okay. Flappers have that strider too. So the extra money definitely getting put to use. Book of Secrets. Weakness to fire on the orc boys. You can see just how ineffective that is because they're shielded. So they just charge on in. Flappers careen into the infantry. Over on the far side, it's a bloody massacre. Not a spear to be seen to help out there. But one of the pump wagons is getting a little bit low. If it routes, that would be pretty bad. He does have a soul grinder of Tzeentch for the chariots too. And a Fury Summon does counterpunch the Forest Goblin Spider Riders quite well. So overall, you know, it's a bit of a tussle. A little bit of an AoE with the Tzeentch magic over here. Left hand side of the Tzeentch army is suffering a bit. The middle is going about even. The right side's doing pretty good. Flappers on the verge of routing. If they get any close to this soul grinder, they're getting terror routed. 6 leadership is not very pretty. And there we go, they do get that terror rout. They will rally though. In fact, the terror rout, the leadership spikes insanely high as soon as they terror out. I don't know what just went down there. But looks like they've stabilized. So actually not a huge loss. They're using their sick missile abilities. The sick missile shot against Soul Grinder, doing nothing. But losing two forest riders. Forest spider riders. It's pretty rough. Loses some of his cavalry too. Loses the flappers. But maintaining 2 points. Value trading. Only 800 down. That's not the end of the world. Tzeentch has a lot of money tied up in this thing. Spawn summon does drop though. And overall, seems like the greenskins have a decent situation. I think it's still anyone's game. That's a pretty good Searing Doom though. Orc boys looks like they will hold against the rather weak marauders of Tzeentch. But these guys get routed off. Wa does drop though. Although one pump wagon is on the run. It does distract that incredibly expensive soul grinder that only has 500 value. So don't count the greenskins out yet. The soul grinder is going to take at least 3, 4, 5 more minutes before it pays off for itself. And like shooting pump wagons is a slow business indeed. Shooting these guys, oh, they do rally. That's pretty huge. Greenskins may even get a 3rd point, which would be really good for them. Screamers of Tzeentch too get summoned on in. Very risky pick because they can die pretty hard getting caught up. I would say it's actually maybe if the greenskins capture this point, I think they actually do come out slightly ahead. A snipe on the Night Goblin Shaman's nice, but these Exalteds really don't have a job to do in this battle outside of chasing flappers. But the flappers are already dead, so they're kind of just here to poke around and maybe get some work done. Maybe they can kill the Night Goblin War Boss, but I assume he can escape pretty well. Oh my gosh, no brace on the spears. So they just get bulldozered. That's pretty brutal. Tzeentch is gonna need infantry if they want to recapture these points, and this one over here looking a little bit sus. Infantry gets knocked onto the point by the flapper though, which does slow down that capture rate ever so slightly. And in a trading game like this, trading versus capture point game, that is everything you possibly need. Screamers 2 still doing pretty well actually, but these orc boys hunkering down, doing really well. These ones leave the point though, but it seems like they will be capturing that point, and that is a triple cap. For the forces of the greenskin, Book of Secrets, another whiff. That's pretty bad. You don't want to whiff on those. You want Bunas. That does basically nothing. And Tzeentch is down to only a few units. Now he does have the Soul Grinder on the point, and Terror cannot be ignored. It is extremely potent if you have enough dudes to actually recapture. He did. Not anymore though. Flappers getting a nasty charge on these marauders. Potentially could even rout them. Another Orc Spear unit does show up, and these ones, will they hold? Big ol' Tzeentch magic does drop. Gets a good amount of damage. But what the crap? One Exalted gets routed by a Night Goblin War Boss? I guess the Cav Spear surround was pretty brutal against him. Totally missed it. He had to use a big bombardment to save it, which means that it's not over here to support the Soul Grinder fight. Greenskins only 1,500 behind, even less so. And the Soul Grinder, remember, it makes up a lot of that value, so Greenskins really don't have to worry that much on that front. Over on the flank side, Screamer still alive, but not that much value. And an Orc Boy being brought in to stall the enemy forces. Chariot not really getting a good charge on them either, so they're doing pretty well. Exalted is now off the field. Good escort from Oishi. Oishi does kill the Night Goblin Shaman though, but I don't think he's not that high a priority target. He doesn't have that many abilities. And like Tzeentch really needs to capture some points right now. He is finally done with the Flappas at least. But like, come on, there's like 15 capture weight over here at least. And Rugloods. Rugloods are still online and operational. This Lord is still alive. Big surround on the Exalted. He doesn't even kill the caster. Oh, that's brutal. Just uses his Searing Doom too, so there's no saving this guy. He's probably gonna be taking a lot of damage here. On the full surround. And yeah, he's getting staggered up pretty hard. So that looks like it's gonna be the downfall of him, but a bit of a Tzeentch resurgence with these chariots now. Greenskins have lost most of their mobility. So probably the biggest out is hella value trades with these here chariots. Tzeentch is definitely not out of the game just yet. A mild charge on the spears, but the chariots aren't taking too much damage because these spears are pretty well worked down. Although I will say, staying in combat kind of brutal. Cycle charging with this Marauder Horseman, just trying to break into this greenskin position as much as he can. Good Searing Doom on his Exalted, but he's still probably gonna go down to the Orc Warboys. Screamer charge though, diving on in. They're flailing about. Pretty good damage actually. Does rout off the Warboys probably, but the wall drops right before they rout, and that's ITP, which is at least +8 leadership. The Tzeentch force is kind of getting bogged down. These chariots, as much as I was hyping them up, if they're not gliding through infantry constantly, it's pretty rough, and they are quite expensive. And with them going down, Tzeentch's chances of capturing this point go down dramatically. Yeah, the Exalted Champion might live. Or did he die? I think the Exalted Champion might have died while I wasn't looking. He's kind of gone. So what, there's a Chaos Sorcerer here. Looks like he might be able to recapture this point. He might even capture this point in a decent amount of time. I guess he does have Marauder Horseman. I guess technically between these two, you have 5 capture weight, 20 seconds to steal the point. Actually, you have a bit more, so less than 20 seconds. But with the whole Orc Boar unit still alive, it's going to be pretty sus. Boar is over here coming in to support. Anything for Tzeentch? Not really. They do have a few resources to summon in, but not pretty good. Not good at all. Not pretty good. Yeah, it's not pretty good. Like they're still triple cap, man. It's at the 400 mark, 1400 mark. It's pretty done for. Why did you decide to go with blue as faction color? What do you mean? I'm not playing Tzeentch, man. What do you mean attack speed enjoyer? But yeah. Yeah, it's looking pretty bad. Someone mentioned Tzeentch Chosen. I wonder if Tzeentch Chosen could have beat the greenskin pump wagon flappers. This chariot does come back. You can see how much damage it does when it gets a good charge, but they just kind of got too brutalized, right? All that mobility is kind of rough. Health bar. Health bar. My health bar? Still know what you're saying. Anyways, Archie takes the win. Solid game from Oishi. Has pretty good value magic expenditure wise. Thing is, these Chaos Sorcerers are a little expensive, so you do hope that you can get a little bit more value out of them, though definitely not too bad. Seems like the Flappers was just too brutal, right? Did the Soul Grinder do anything? Yeah, you see that? Soul Grinder costs 1,750 gold. So the Soul Grinder really didn't do that much. I think the Soul Grinder might have actually been the big loss. He needed something to kill the Flappers, but like, it's not that impressive. A tool for a different army. Definitely, most definitely. Honestly, he might have gone more value with a with like a Mutalith Vortex Beast or something crazy. Something crazy like that. Screamers did okay, despite my bashing on them. Furies did fine, yeah. But like, you know, he just didn't have enough hard trading pieces to punish the greenskins. All right. Any live streams of campaign on the horizon? Maybe. I do want to stream some people's disaster campaigns. I would like to stream some disaster campaigns, but we haven't had any submitted. I would like to have... Yeah, I don't know. I'll definitely play the next DLC when it releases. I'll play the DLC campaign. I think that's always very interesting. Nice. Oishi's up against Sipa. Hell yeah. Oishi versus Sipa. Some very scary players. Very scary indeed. Looks like the Wood Elves were defeated. Now I wonder, who did it? Who done did it? What'd he win with? Did he win with Chaos Dwarves? I think Sipa does have a fairly wide faction selection. Beastmen, Dark Elves, Greenskins, Ogres, and Chaos Dwarves. That's a pretty good lineup versus Wood Elves. I would assume he got to choose between Beastmen, Greenskins, and Ogres. I think all of those are fairly good versus Wood Elves. The map might have favored him too. Map was Jade Tomb. Yeah, that map. So it's a lot harder to support your guys. That's a very large map. Wood Elves can't do that defensive play style nearly as hard. Got some good flanks. Pretty impressive. Some top tier players here today. Any more Stormgate in the future? I'm keeping an eye on it to see if it pops off. If Stormgate becomes more successful than Warcraft 3, maybe. Because I like playing both of the games. But here's the thing. Warcraft 3 is significantly more popular right now. If you just go to Warcraft 3's Twitch, it's like hundreds of viewers just waiting to be gobbled up. Whereas Stormgate, I don't know. I don't know if we have a lot of people there. That's a high bar, it is. But that's where it's at. Why Ogres good versus Wood Elves? I don't think they're that good, but I think I'd rather play Ogres than Chaos Dwarves. In time spent on Zero Space during the demo weekends, didn't have enough time to try it, sadly. What are you looking for in terms of disaster campaigns? Just individual battles or like a recording? You know, I think like if someone just sends me a campaign file and it's just like, hey, can you help me with this? You know, like literally Legend of Total War's disaster campaign series, but I'm the one doing it. I think it would be interesting for me to save disaster campaigns with more raw micro rather than cheese, because I think it just mixes things up a little bit more. I want to save disaster campaigns without cheese. Yeah, Stormgate, we're just gonna have to see how it does. You know, if it does well, I'll happily play. If it's not doing too well, probably not. Such is the way of having to make business decisions. But yeah, absolutely. Warcraft 3 is getting a huge resurgence, I feel, because of Grubby. Grubby getting a lot of big streamers to play it, you know, is kind of crazy. It's kind of drawing me in too, you know, like I'm seeing it. I'm seeing what it's doing. I'm a little interested. UI is blue. My UI is blue. What do you mean my UI is blue? Whose UI? Where? Mechabellum? I want to play Mechabellum. I just don't have time for it. I'm too busy training for Turin's tournament. What would you define a disaster campaign as? A campaign where the situation is too rough for you to handle. So if you're like, I think this is over, I think it's totally lost, I can't win this battle or solve this situation, that is the perfect campaign, because then I can help show how to win it, right? Because if you are having a hard time, it means a lot of other people are probably having a hard time. And the more difficult, the better. Ordinarily, the friendly faction UI is green. It's usually green, huh? Weird. I think maybe Nvidia changed my settings a little while ago. It's fine though. Yeah, you can make a disaster campaign scenario. As long as it's a scenario that you are unable to solve, you know, that looks impossible, that I can try and resolve, then I think it's good. Darfall, never heard of it. Are they playing Betonia versus Chaos Dwarves? Crazy sauce, okay. So the thing about Betonia and Chowie. The thing about Betonia and Chowie is that I think Lizard and Chowie, okay. Yeah, they're still thinking, alright. Talk about how friendly units are blue when you're spectating. I thought that's just how it was when you spectate. Interesting. Okay, looks like it is Lizards versus Chaos Dwarves. I think Lizards have a pretty good time here because they can kill the trains. And as far as I'm concerned, Chaos Dwarf gameplay entirely revolves around Iron Demons popping off. And generally, I don't think they have that many tools to kill the Lizardman dinos, because they only really have their one lord. Yeah, so I think Lizardmen crush it here. Hey. Oh boy, I'm tired. I need a nap, guys. Your boy Anticity needs a nap real bad. But yeah, I think dwarves, I don't know, we'll have to see. Another great thing though is that I will get to learn how to play Lizardman. Or he copies one of my builds. Yeah, he goes hard Shredder build. If Oishi goes for like a crazy Shredder of Lustria build, what can dwarves even do against such hatred? It was a pretty nice build. Honestly, the Shredder of Lustria build is really hard to kill. I think it does revolve around rock drops a lot though, like your Pterodon riders, but it's pretty good. Chug some Red Bull. I'm far enough in my career now where I can work on my work-life balance. Work-life balance. And as it stands, sadly right now, life is a little demanding. God dang life. Why you gotta be so difficult? I also got like videos I gotta work on and post. Man. Sometimes I wish I could just, you know, just do pure streaming forever. Literally only streaming. But, yeah, such is life. Shoot it till it stops twitching. Shredder of Lustria, I think even if you had 4 glaives, if you had 4 fire glaives, I think the Shredder of Lustria wins. If it's supported by Mazda Mundi. The Mundi is kind of crazy. You just caught my victorious Cathay stream earlier. You must say you are disgusted yet very impressed. Yo, it's sick, man. With Crowmen, I think Jade Lancers with Crowmen rival even Slanesh Cavalry. I think in a pure cavalry duel, I think Cathay wins. The only downside is that they don't have that much good cavalry. Because after the Jade Lancers, it's Peasant Horsemen. If there were Jade Lancers with swords, like Jade Swordsman Cavalry, for like 850 or something like that, I think Cathay would become broken. I think they would become one of the best, one of the top tier factions in the game, because, god dang, it's very strong. And then the little bit of extra infantry threat. Oh my goodness. Celestial Dragon Cavalry. Oh boy, that'd be hype. But yeah, they're like almost Kislev, Bretonia tier type cavalry. Very strong with Crowmen. Harder to counter because they come split instead of one. As expected. The Demon's Tongue. So he does have a train. Does have the Regiment of Renown train. More power. Double Castellan for a little bit of hokey poke action. Seems pretty simple, right? You know, he has 2 trains. He has that, like, you know, he has Source of Profit of Metal. Final Transportation to kill, you know, mini single entities. Lizardmen, Oishi went for the feral cold ones. Interesting. You know, I wondered if my Lizardmen game I should have spanned more feral cold ones. The Shredder of Lustria. He took the Shredder. Hell yeah. Slon, Mage, Priest of Life. You know what? If I go Cav Max, maybe I should just take a Shredder of Lustria. You know, I kind of like this. So it's Shredder supported by Cav instead of just pure Cav. You know, maybe that's what I did wrong. Air horns. Pew, 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 pew. God, I'm so tired. Chameleon Stalkers over here. Honestly, Glaives would have a hard time with this much cavalry. The thing I'm worried about the most is, oh, this isn't even a train. It's Death Streak rocket launcher. So the dwarves bought an artillery piece. I think the Lizardmen win here, though. I think the Shredder dominates. You know, maybe every build I play as a Lizardman, I should take the Shredder of Lustria. It is that good sometimes. Slon Mage, Priest of Life. He has the regrowth. Surprised no Mazda Mundi. Flesh to Stone, though. Kind of a cool piece. Wonder where he's going to use that one. Interesting indeed. Feral Cold Ones with a little bit of an early cap. Will they down trade though? Good dodge from Oishi. He's on point. He's paying attention. This is why artillery, you don't see it too often. Cold Ones on the flanks. Interesting. So not a skirmisher in sight. He went, yeah, he went full cavalry. No skirmish. Look at them partying behind this pillar. They're mesmerized. Shredder of Lustria is like, I don't know what this is. Is it a scratching post? Slan Mage Priest pushes them forwards. Come on, Shredder. You got places to be. Demon's Tongue, I don't think is going to have too many targets here. Oh, the Colossadons. All right. Big ol' surround on the Sorcerer Prophet. Big shot coming in, though. And Dunkerinoed on nothing. Oh, actually does kill a Colossadon. Holy crap. It just one-shotted him. Pretty crazy. Breath attack coming on in. This is an expensive unit. You don't want to lose that. Pretty good value trades all around. But this infantry corps is not going to survive this melee. Though I will say the Feral Cold Ones had it pretty rough. Oh my goodness, that artillery piece is cooking. Stalkers out there still hidden. Feral Cold Ones baiting out the Bull Centaurs. A little bit of a rout here, but the Shredder's in the business. And oh my goodness, the Chameleon Stalker flank. It's actually working. Yo, that's crazy, man. Actually using stealth mechanics in this game. Can you believe it? Now, if they did get seen, that would have been pretty bad. Good final transportation. Still has to deal with the Shredder, though. Always got to deal with the Shredder. If he routes off the Death Streak, it's pretty bad for the Chowie. It's a very expensive tool to lose. I believe it's, what, 1,300? Over here, Bastildon should be able to clear that up in due time. And there's the route. Now, can he save it? If he saves it, this push is all for naught. But it does have very low leadership. Damage sustained, minus 48. But it looks like it should be able to rally unless it takes a little bit more damage. Shredder of Lustria does get a regrowth, so its vigor shall be replenished, and these Castellans are going down. Interesting battle so far, though this guy has healed up a decent amount. You know, maybe that's why he didn't take Mazdamundi. I'm actually noticing it now. He has the Chalice of Blood and Darkness. He heals a lot of HP every time you cast magic. But what if you only cast magic once in a blue moon? You're never gonna have to worry about him healing up. That's actually kind of cool. So that means this guy's probably gonna get bulldozered. Shredder of Lustria comes on in. Gets a couple shots off. I will say, though, the tussling is fairly even so far. Slan Mage Priest of Life a little bit worse for wear. Shredder's doing good, though. And yeah, no heals on this guy. Though I will say that artillery piece coming back, though, is a solid win for the Chaos Dwarves. But oh my goodness, that Shredder. Absolute deletion on those Bull Centaur renders. Absolute annihilation nation. They are getting massacred and they rout. Shredder of Lustria does not joke around when it comes to cavalry, though that artillery piece is still very painful. This is still controlled by the Lizardmen too, so they're probably sitting pretty comfortable, along with the fact that they have heals, though Slan Mage Priest does have to use a regrowth on himself. Upgraded too, but he is burnt, which means that its healing effectiveness is halved. So honestly, not a great value trade. Especially because the Sorcerer Prophet of Metal is going to heal up because of that too, but he just kind of has to keep his Slan alive. You know, if these guys start routing off, it's a bad situation. He does live, however, with a solid cavalry charge, way overextending though, leaving the Slan to die. Pretty sus. Point does eventually get captured though. Orc laborers do not have a lot of capture weight though. That's 1.3 ticks per second. They need 100 to get that point. Bloody ages, though they do eventually get there. Slan Mage Priest barely not routing though, and a catch on the Demon's Tongue would be good. Overall, though, I'd say generally, maybe slightly Chaos Dwarf favored. Can you believe it? Not even Oishi can win with Lizardmen. God, do Lizardmen just suck? I feel like Lizardmen just suck. I don't know about you guys. They kind of ended up getting bullied. He even got a sick charge here, but Shredder of Lustria wasn't able to really do much, right? You know, I feel like Lizardmen really only have a couple good tools. No major misplays from Oishi, aside from losing his Lord. That's pretty rough, but... Did the Feral Cold Ones do anything? Not really. Not really. Skink Croxagore against Chaos Dwarves. Skink Croxagore is not too bad. Maybe you could have gone for a Fat Rush. Seems like Lizardmen's a tough cookie to crack indeed. I don't think they suck. I think they are playable, but it's a little hard. I think we need Charix. We need Charix to whip out his Lizardmen Salamander play. I feel like that's generally where you see them do a little bit better, maybe. Use Saurus to tank, and then the Salamanders do well. You know, he does kill the Demon's Tongue, but he is down a Lord now, so all of his cavalry is going to be in way worse shape. It's 7 units, 18 too. A lot of these units are in good health, except for maybe this little pocket, but still, they outnumber the Lizardmen quite dramatically. He summons in the Infernal Guard Fireglaves. There's not much left over here for them lizards. There really isn't that much left. One last shot from the Demon's Tongue, one last lick, and it does go down, but this is gonna be pretty rough, right? Another shot from that artillery piece. Boom. Shredder of Lustria gets down to the halfway mark. That's pretty unfortunate. Is recently fought enemies are routing. Enabled if they are recently routing, huh? Yo, that's crazy. Shredder gets a speed boost when it routes units off. No wonder it's good. Though, yeah, it's getting bullied, man. This Death Streak baited out an entire skink unit and has 1800 value. I think he had to just fat rush it with the Shredder of Lustria. I think that was his only out. Not use a skink to shut it down, but just get the Shredder and just A-move it. That's probably his only out, but now it's a little bit too softened up. The blunderbusses and the fireglaves are going to be real brutal versus guy. No amount of healing is going to save him, 'cause healing's dead. Even if he comes back, fire damage. It's pretty rough. Oh, okay, going there. Another nasty hit. God, what's the value on this guy? This guy's accumulated 2,100. That's a toad dragon for free. My goodness. Yeah, lizards. Not enough boots on the ground, man. Lizardmen. They had a rough day today. Honestly, after the performance, I feel like I should move my Lizardmen down a tier. I feel like my Lizardmen might even be worse than my Coast win rate wise. Unless I could figure out a sick build. Maybe I do just Shredder of Lustria every game. Maybe I do just Shredder of Lustria max. That is the one time it did really well with the Mazda Mundi. You just YOLO into their army. And then it kind of just works. In this case, though, it kind of died. No Mazda Mundi. Shredder of Lustria gets worn down by the long grind. Lizardmen don't wear boots. Technically, the dwarves might be wearing Lizardmen boots. Pretty brutal, but I wouldn't put it past them. And yeah, that's the Shredder down. Healer comes in a little bit too little, too late. And that's it. He didn't even want to show up, too. Healer's like, screw it, man. I'm done. Is this becoming a chair stream? All right, here we go. I know what we gotta do. I know what we're supposed to do here. We're done. It's over, man. Chair stream, David. The chairs are taking over. It's over, guys. I don't know what to say. Oh, God. Yo, I don't know what this bug is, but I love it. Oh, it's over. All right. Well, Yo, I don't know what happened to him. He dipped, man. He didn't want any of that business. Well, congratulations to Sipa. I'm gonna call it a day for today. Because honestly, I'm a little exhausted. Don't know from what exactly. But yeah, I'll see if I can get some good rest. Get a longer stream tomorrow. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll just do a quick double check to see if there's someone to raid, but I don't think we're goodies. Jeez. Please report score. That is a Dread Chaos Store victory, though. Pretty crazy, ain't it? Let's see. Is Battlesea streaming? No Battlesea. No Battlesea today. All right, I'll just end it off. I will see you guys tomorrow. It was fun. I think I gotta work on my Lizardmen, but if I can figure out Cathay, I think I can figure out Lizardmen. Should be fine. Bye-byes. And I'll see you guys on Friday. Peace, peace.